Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of our Board of Directors and staff, we thank you for joining us. Today, we have none other than Mayor Sylvester Turner joining us to talk to us a little bit about COVID, what's going on here in the city, and how we can all protect ourselves. Mayor, thanks for joining us. I know that you, your team, all of our elected officials have really worked so hard, put your own lives at risk, that of your staff getting out there trying to share messages as safely as you possibly can. We are seeing the numbers just do some extraordinarily bad things, and unfortunately, many in our community are still not taking those preventive measures. What would you like to say to them?
Dr. Murillo, number one, thank you for having me. I want to say to them, look, we value every single person that lives in the city of Houston. This virus is still very much present in our community. We are needing people to mask up, okay, and stay masked up, especially if you're in the presence of people outside of your home. Mask up. The social distancing becomes so important, but I know for many people, especially communities of color, it's difficult to do that, especially when they're at home. And then proper hygiene, washing your hands, all of those things done in combination will help to keep you alive.
Yes, and we at the Chamber of Commerce, we have been participating with the City of Houston, the Health Department, putting together public service announcements in English, in Spanish, trying to get this message out. Unfortunately, Mayor, as you know, if you drive down the streets of Houston, you still see people from the street into restaurants. They're still not following these guidelines. What responsibility does the entrepreneur, the business owner have in protecting their employees and doing their part?
Everybody has a role to play. Number one, when people or patrons are invited to businesses or employees, it is important for those business owners, those managers to encourage their employees and their patrons to put on their masks and to keep their masks on when they're in others. That's important. Owners of restaurants and bars that are operating as restaurants, when they are crowded, that's a no-no. And so the owners and the managers have a responsibility to have people social distance and to keep their mask on. Otherwise, it's going to make it very difficult for business and for the community in the days and weeks and months to come.
Well, and if we do our part now, the facts, the science all indicate that we will get through this. But the longer we procrastinate and are, sometimes wearing our mask and other times not, the longer it's going to take for us to get out of this. Especially now, we have some hope at the end of the tunnel with vaccines. Please talk to us about the status of Houston vaccines and how that is going to all take place here in Houston.
And I believe today the FDA did vote to approve the distribution of this vaccine. So it's going to start, I would think within the next 3 to 4 days, the vaccine will start to be distributed to, number one, to our healthcare providers. That's number one. And then secondly, it will probably be to our first responders and people in our living facilities, senior living facilities, especially our vulnerable populations. And so we are right there. There will be a significant amount of dosages made available for this month. In January, it will be more. February will be more than January, and then March and April, until everyone who desires the vaccine will be able to get the vaccine. And let me encourage people to please, when they're eligible to get the vaccine, please take it. I intend to do that, and I hope that others will do it as well, especially in the Hispanic and the African-American communities.
Yes, we have disproportionately been impacted by COVID, not only with lives, but businesses, et cetera, et cetera. And I think, Mayor, so much has to do with the either the lack of understanding, the severity of what COVID can do, the reality, the facts, the science, and you can't see it. So for some people, they assume that they can go to 3 or 4 houses because they're family members and somehow it's not going to impact them. We know it does. We've had significant lives we have lost in the Houston area. We have seen businesses that have been just decimated and will never come back. The facts show that 2 out of 6 restaurants won't come back. When we look at Hispanic-owned restaurants and businesses in the city, 42% of Hispanic-owned businesses, are here, and they contribute to the economy with over 54 billion with a B toward our economy. And so if you're watching us, especially minority communities, please take this seriously. We want to get our economy up and going, but it goes hand in hand with our health. It's not an either or. And I know, Mayor, there have been a lot of conversations that it should be one or the other, but we have seen you and others say it has to be both. You can't do one without the other.
Our community, the people in our communities, they need their health, and at the same time, they need the ability to take care of their families. So the economy and their health are hand in hand together. That's why one of the programs, Dr. Murillo, that we have put forth here at the city using CARES funding is our restaurants and meals program. I was just today, for example, at Don Maria restaurant in the East End. They're one of 25 restaurants that's participating in the city's Restaurant and Meals East program. We are providing funding to them to provide they provide 150 meals a day, every day through the end of this year. And I was talking to Anna and to Juan today, the owners of the restaurant, and that's helped to stabilize them, to take care of their staff, to keep their doors open. So we're doing our part. We recognize that for people who are taking care of their families, they want to be healthy, but they also need the financial means to be able to take care of the needs of their children and their households. So the business community of these businesses, we need to do everything we can to keep them going. And again, I want to thank the Hispanic Chamber. I want to thank you, Dr. Murillo, because you all have been invaluable working with the city in this regard.
Well, thank you, Mayor. And also our thanks to the city of Houston and the county for providing grants to small businesses, taking the bureaucracy out of it, keeping it simple for these business owners to stay afloat. Earlier today, we were on interviews with Congress members, including Congresswoman Lizzie Fletcher and Pete Olson and anyone else who would listen, asking them to please send more stimulus money to our region. Our businesses need it now. We don't need politics. We need action. And we appreciate all that you and others are doing to get those resources to those who need it most. They can't wait until January. Small businesses need that money now. We're urging them to release that money to those who need it most.
The strength of our city lies with our businesses. It's the heart and soul. We have about 10,000 plus restaurants in our city from all throughout all parts of our city, a great deal of diversity. We need them to stay open. We need these restaurants to stay open so that they can employ and at the same time service the people in our city, small businesses. I'm proud to say that the city of Houston, through the CARES dollars, we have provided $35 million in small business assistance grants up to about $50,000. To businesses within the city of Houston to try to stabilize their situation as much as possible. I want to join you in urging Congress, the federal government, to provide an additional stimulus package for our businesses, to provide additional help to assist people in paying their rent, to provide additional support for people just that small stipend. Just to keep going from day to day, week to week, month to month.
Yes, and also all of the many city partners, Catholic Charities, Baker Ripley, all of the parishes and others who are doing heavy lifting and are out there making sure that people get that meal, all of the teachers and others to keep this city moving and going. The sad news that we heard today about Houston First and their challenges, so many nonprofits that do incredible work are also out there dealing with this. And also to the banks, they've processed so many applications for PPP, and to all the entrepreneurs that went from their distilleries of alcohol to making hand sanitizer. That's who Houston is, Mayor. For you, what will be, if any, silver lining for you for 2020?
The silver lining is, for example, everybody who's listening and watching us today and those who are not, for them to remain healthy and safe so that we together can leave 2020 behind and move forward in 21. The silver lining would be small businesses and medium-sized businesses and others to remain afloat and then to stabilize and even to prosper even more in 21. For the anxiety, the stress level to come down. That's the silver lining. And the beauty of our healthcare delivery system doesn't become overwhelmed, such that anybody who may need medical and healthcare assistance, that they can get it. And then when they get it, that they can return back to their families and their jobs healthy and can move forward.
Yes.
Work together, I know we can achieve all of those objectives and more.
Yes, and we absolutely can. And Mayor, the final question, especially now that we know those vaccines are on the way, for individuals who doubt, for whatever reason, that this vaccine is something they should get, what words do you have for them?
What I will say is that what we do know is that this virus is having a disproportionate impact on communities of color. Every single day when I look at the numbers, the Hispanic community has been hit extremely hard. People in the African American community have been hit extremely hard. What we do know is that with this virus, the impact is disproportionate. And so I would encourage people that when this vaccine is made available and you can get it, please take advantage and get it. And keep yourself alive and your families alive, such that 21, we can all move forward together. I intend to take it. And let me just say this. If the mayor is going to take it, and I'm going to take it as soon as it's available for me, I'm eligible for it. If it's good enough for myself and my daughter, my sisters and my brothers, I would encourage you to take it as well.
Well, I'll be right there in that line with you, Mayor, and can't wait. And certainly, again, our heartfelt thanks to you and your staff for all the work that they have done under extraordinary circumstances, wishing our city and the world to get vaccinated so we can move into 2021 prosperous, healthy, and back to business. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you.
You
Please.
too. Merry Christmas.